Hello. So this is James with Love My Pups and mybreedersupply.com, and I've got this little girl here with me, not because we're showing her off, but that way you don't have to just look at my face and get completely bored. You can look at a cute puppy as I'm talking. So this is a whole thing about what is the right time to decide to have a C-section. So this is a whole thing about what is the right time to decide to have a C-section. So I literally have conversations every week, maybe every few days, on people who have used one of my dogs for an AI, and now they're trying to decide when's the right time to have the C-section. Whelp is based on 65 days from ovulation, plus or minus 1 day. So the problem here is, and so normally you AI 2 days after ovulation, which makes it 63 days. The problem is that if you AI'd early, then you will have a whelp that will show up late. If you AI late, you'll have a whelp that will show up, if you AI late, a whelp will show up early. So if you go strictly off the AI date, if you got the AI right, you're okay. But if you got it wrong, if you AI'd early or late, you're going to correspondingly get the wrong whelp date. So that gets to be the problem. And this thing is measured in 2 days. If you are off 2 days, if you take puppies 2 days early, their lungs have not developed properly, and you very likely lose some or all of the litter. So just simply going off the AI date and doing nothing else is okay most of the time, but some of the times it's really going to get you caught with your pants down. So be very careful about just accepting this date from the vet, where the vet says, oh yeah, we AI'd on this date, so this is the due date, we'll schedule it right now. And they schedule this thing, literally, 2 months before you have the C-section. So here is the one thing that is really reliable, and it's taking some blood and doing a progesterone test. So if you look at the progesterone levels of a dog, what happens is the normal dog that hasn't gone through heat, is not pregnant, has a progesterone level that's something less than a half. We're talking about nanograms per liter, I believe, I may have got my scale wrong, but anyway, we all talk about progesterone levels of somewhere between 1 and 30. So if you've got a level that's less than 1, that is a dog that has probably not gone to heat yet. So then what happens is the progesterone levels start to rise. We look for a level of 5, that's the time that we say the dog is ovulated. We then AI 2 days later, its progesterone level will be about 15. And then after that, progesterone levels will continue to rise and stay high in the numbers of 30, 40, 50, 60. For a normal gestation, if you don't get high progesterone levels, the dog probably won't sustain the pregnancy. And then what happens is those levels stay high, and they remain high for the next 2 months, and they start to drop very rapidly about 3 days prior to whelp. If you take the progesterone level of a dog that is 2 days from whelp, its progesterone level will be around 2. If you look at a dog's progesterone level when it's 1 day from whelp, it'll be about 1. So if you take a progesterone test and you find that your numbers is 2 or less, you're safe to take puppies. If it's less than that, or 1 or a half, you're absolutely safe to take puppies. So that is, if you're in doubt as to what the heck's going on, then that is the reliable thing to do, is to do a progesterone test. Now, the problem is lots of places can't get the progesterone results until the following day, so this kind of messes you up. What I do is I use the Target ovulation test kit that I get from, get that glare out of the screen there. I use the Target ovulation test kit that I get from Hamilton Research. I can do the test myself, and I'll get the results within about 10 minutes. And on that test, it's white when the progesterone level is above 8, and it's a fairly dark blue with the progesterone levels something less than 1. So you can tell from that by the shade of the color where you are on the progesterone level, and from that you can then save tails. So what I look for is, I look for a dog that, you know, is doing all the right things, its temperature has dropped, and if I see all of those things, I don't bother with a progesterone test. I can just schedule my C-section. But if I'm not sure, then the best thing to do is to do a progesterone test, and that way you can avoid this mistake of taking puppies early. And there's one other thing that you can do too. The vet can do a digital exam where they take a couple of fingers and put a finger up inside the dog, and they can see whether the cervix is dilated, or maybe even feel a puppy there. And if you see any of those things, again, that's a simple, quick test to do. You're already going to pay for an examination, have a C-section, so they're not going to charge you any extra for that. And that's one thing that I like to do. I'll say, hey doc, can you just do a digital exam? And he'll do a digital exam, and he'll say, yeah, she's opened up. And that makes me feel confident again that nature's, you know, is taking its course, the cervix is dilating, and she's going to have puppies anyway. So please don't just accept this number that a vet gives you based on when you did the AI, because you honestly can make some serious mistakes. And if you do it right, then you're going to have puppies like this little girl here. She is a lilac and tan Frenchie. She's gorgeous. You love her. And you will be successful. Get it wrong, and you may not be getting kisses like this.